Good evening, traders. Today is Tuesday at 6:10, and right now I'm looking at the S&P 500 futures. This is what I'm going to be discussing in the video. We're starting off with the levels that we need to watch tomorrow. Today's low was 1325 half. That's right about here. Now, if you're looking for a little more downside and you have some shorts that you want to put on tomorrow, you want to hold below this level. Now, I don't think that it's going to be drastic selling. It's pretty much going to be a chop around market. There's still going to be opportunities on the table since we are in the middle of earnings season. Just a level to look out for. If we do go down, look for around 1316 to be a little support, and then we're going to look for the 1304 level, which was held before. As long as we're above 1300, this would be a good time to start adding long positions. Now, I've got a couple of questions asking what I think about the debt ceiling plan that's in Congress right now, and do I think the US is going to default. Now, this is my personal opinion, and yes, I think we're going to default, but not right now. I think that it's going to come later on into 2012 when we can't meet our obligations. As for right now, if this plan passes, which I think it will before August 2nd, that's going to be the time that you're going to want to buy stocks. Now, you see this little formation right here? Some people are calling it a cup and handle. I'm just going to call it what it is. It's beautiful and it's bullish. Even though you've seen this short-term little pullback and a lower high, this is still a bullish formation. You see this 1343 level? Well, we've been watching this for a while, and back here a few months ago, I was saying the only time I'm going to want to buy is if we could hold this level. Obviously, Goldman Sachs and the other elites on Wall Street weren't wanting to take it up right then. But if this plan passes and we get out of this congestion area, we are going to hit 1400. Mark my words. Alright, so if that happens, what else is going to happen? Crude oil will go up. Right, so you've seen them trying to hold crude below $100. You could call it a conspiracy, you could call it manipulation, call it what you want. But if it does break above 100, I suggest you get on the bandwagon and start riding this to 105. Now, another thing. A lot of people have been talking about ethanol lately. You know, ethanol is 10% of our gasoline, and there's a huge market for it. 40% of all the ethanol that the U.S. produced this year will be going to ethanol in our gasoline. 5 billion bushels to be exact. Another thing, corn usually trades like crude oil. You see it's up really big right now, 90% year over year to be exact. That's huge numbers. Now, when Congress put this into the Senate and they passed this bill, they figured that it would actually help us reduce our dependency on foreign oil and gasoline. That is not the case. It's actually getting worse. They're talking about raising ethanol up to 15%. And then China, on the other hand, is even talking about curbing their inflation. Instead of importing 2 billion bushels of corn, they're talking about importing 5 billion bushels of corn this year alone. So I'm not going to get too much on that. If you have any questions, you could email me. We'll have a discussion, but we're going to continue to move on. For some resistance on the minis, look for 1332 half, which was today's open, followed by 1335. That's if we catch a big bid. I'm going to talk a little bit about earnings and the three horsemen, Apple, Google, and Baidu, which all beat on earnings. You see Apple gapping up here. Just take a look at the prior quarters. What you want to see when you're investing in a stock is you want to see the top line improving. And you're looking right here. You see 640, $7.79. They crushed earnings, hit that 400, and you have a target of 475 by the elite traders Goldman Sachs. So I think that's pretty realistic. I'm not saying we're going to go straight up. There might be a little bit of congestion, but Apple's a very strong company. They've given good guidance, and I love Apple. Baidu beat once again. They're taking over their country. All right, here we see 41 cents, 50 cents, 47. Now we dropped 3 cents here. That's why you saw this little down move. But after that, Baidu got too cheap. Okay, it was at 115, and the traders said we're going to hold this 200-day moving average. It's not going below it. You see right here a little bit of more consolidation, and then once you got above 150, that's when people, you could have called it insider trading, but they were adding, and they knew that Baidu was going to beat this quarter. So 72 cents, that's a big beat. And then we have Google. When Google reported, they had a low the prior day of 526, and then they gapped all the way up to 542. That's a big move. You see them moving up. Goldman Sachs said they still like Google. Next level is going to be 629.5, and if we're strong tomorrow, we will test that. That's where it gets interesting. Still speaking of the tech sector, let's look at HPQ. This is a gapping play that we're watching. How would I play this? Okay, we'd have to break above the 37.65, but let's just call it 37.82. We'd have to hold above 37.82, and if we got long, our stop would be around 37.60. Keep this on your alerts for tomorrow, day traders. It's going to be a lot of momentum, and since we tested it today and we came off a little bit intraday, closing at 37.47, you could either look to short it if the bears come into play, or you could look to go long. I gave you a if-then scenario right there. Now to today's trades. I only traded 2 things today. UPS, actually let me pull back up the daily chart for a moment. Alright, looking quarter over quarter, we beat. Everything's looking the same lately. Last quarter was a little lower than the prior quarter, but this quarter on all the strong stocks are improving. You saw FedEx beat. UPS sold off, but the CEO did make some good comments. So how did I trade this intraday? And I want to start doing some more intraday videos, day trading. But look at this. You see this big candlestick right here? This was the candlestick that brought us down to the pivot, and this is what I was looking for. I drew my line right here going across. I said to myself, if we could get above this and hold, I will be accumulating shares as long as our moving average is pointed up. Now this is a short-term moving average. It's basically a 4-period moving average, and then what it does is it takes the high and the low and it divides it by 2, and that would be exponential. That's what works for me. I've tested numerous different strategies, and this one fits the best for my strategy. Anyways, so we got above that, got long right in here, and I rode this thing all the way up, and I sold it right at this next pivotal level. So that was an easy trade. Next one I traded was unusual for me, but I've actually been developing another strategy, and it's SAPX. It's 7 Arts Pictures, and they had some good news, but when you see a stock go from $1 to almost $6 in 3 days, you know that it's not going to last. They're the momentum people buying the news and then selling the rumor. That's exactly what happened. I started shorting it at 410, and I shorted a lot of shares. I made a point on it. I'm very proud of this trade, way more than the UPS trade. and because I made a lot more money. And then we see perfect point move. You just got to take risks in this market, guys. So keep watching for trades like that. And then the last thing I want to discuss is ExxonMobil, because I have a very large position in this. Now, I know a lot of people are concerned about the quarter because they've had a leak out in the northwest hemisphere, and they think that's going to affect earnings. Well, I know a lot about this company, and they have a large market cap, larger than Chevron. And you see Chevron's a lot more expensive, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I believe that ExxonMobil is a $100 stock. I'm holding it into earnings, a small position at least. Now let me show you something. You see this level right here that we're at 84.47? If we sink below this tomorrow and don't hold the 84, if we get around 83.5, I'm going to look to take some off the table. But if we do hold this, then I'm going to hold 75% of my position going into earnings. And if we beat, I'm looking for 87.5 to take profits. Now I'm long this from 81.5, right around here. I love this stock, like I said. And another thing to look for, their retail division, their retail gas stations, they're planning on franchising them out and selling the rest of them. I believe total there's 30,000, and I think they have around, it's either 6 or 10,000 left. Don't quote me on that. But every one that they sell, they said that there's going to be more cash that's added to the balance sheet. They want to get in the wholesale markets. I guess it makes more sense because they're going to be making money on the gasoline anyway. So crude oil does tend to go up until September, and then it starts to simmer down. Hey, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave me any comments, and good luck trading tomorrow. I will get you out a day trading video. Okay, have a good night, traders.